Good morning. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining us. Today's webinar will be focused on our industrial and large customer energy costs. I'm Mike Wagner. I'm the Community Development Manager for Alliant Energy. I'll be hosting and presenting the July 2022 Energy Cost Outlook webinar. In a continued effort to provide information important to our customers, we are pleased to let you know that we are pre-recording our semi-annual energy cost outlooks. This presentation will be available at alliantenergy.com/Iowa rates early next week, and it will be posted until our next Energy Cost Outlook webinar in December of 2022. Please put any questions in the chat box in this webinar, or you can email them to energypriceoutlook@alliantenergy.com. To make sure that we capture and share the answers to any questions from these webinars with all of our customers, we won't answer questions during this presentation, but we'll add the questions and the answers to the Iowa rates page as soon as we can after the webinar. I also want to share that we will hold a webinar later this morning for our community leaders focused on residential and small business customers, and that presentation will also be available on our Iowa rates page. Here's a look at our agenda for this morning. We will spend a few minutes today providing an update on our clean energy blueprint in Iowa. We'll then discuss our plan to deliver reliable energy to meet this summer's expected energy use. Then we will review the forecast for 2022 electric costs and end with some resources available. And again, if you have any questions today, please type the questions into the chat feature. There will not be an immediate response to the questions asked. We will collect all the questions in the chat and post the questions and answers along with the presentation. You may also reach out to your key account manager or the Business Resource Center if you have any questions that are specific to your needs. Let's get started with an update on our plans for a cleaner energy future. In November, Alliant Energy filed an Advanced Rate-Making Application, or RPU, with the Iowa Utilities Board, detailing our plans for adding the first portion of our planned 400 megawatts of solar energy generation, along with battery energy storage. We finalized agreements with NextEra Energy Resources, who was the owner-operator of the Duane Arnold Energy Center in Linn County, to acquire 200 megawatts of solar and 75 megawatts of utility-scale battery energy storage around the former DAEC site. Next Energy Resources is a proven and experienced developer of renewable energy resources in Iowa and globally. In fact, NextEra is the leading developer of solar paired with storage in both megawatt capacity and the number of projects in the United States. Alliant Energy and its project partners continue to work with regulators, local leaders, and landowners toward acquiring the proper permits and land necessary for the project so construction can begin. Alliant Energy also continues to evaluate projects around Iowa that would make up the additional 200 megawatts of solar identified in the application and in our clean energy blueprint. The benefits of solar and battery projects include continue to execute our clean energy blueprint to reduce our dependency on fossil fuels, avoiding long-term costs associated with fossil fuel plants. This would include fuel costs and operating costs. The solar and battery at the former Duane Arnold site will have minimal interconnection costs by using the existing generator interconnection agreement for DAEC. And the project will also help the local economies through increased tax base and local construction jobs. And also, as you look at your sustainability plans, know that 40% of the energy we delivered to our customers last year came from renewable resources, and we expect that number to grow as more of our solar projects are completed and come online. Now, as temperatures heat up throughout the Midwest, Alliant Energy is prepared to deliver the reliable energy our customers need. By consistently planning for the ongoing energy needs of our customers and maintaining a diverse energy mix of generation resources, the company has sufficient resources to meet our current demand. As Alliant Energy transitions to more renewable resources, gas and coal-fired generating plants are also available. Alliant Energy is part of MISO, that's Mid-Continent Independent System Operator. MISO manages the generation and transmission of electricity within a multi-state region which includes Iowa. The power Alliant Energy produces directly benefits our own customers in Iowa, and our generation also benefits customers throughout the region. And in turn, our customers benefit from power produced by other energy companies too. This partnership is especially important because companies throughout the region can draw upon the power generated by other utilities, working together to benefit all customers. When hot days are in the forecast and peak demand is expected to increase, several steps are taken by both MISO and Alliant Energy to prepare. MISO alerts member energy companies to cancel planned generation maintenance to keep those resources available and lines up emergency sources in case they're needed. Alliant Energy can implement voluntary customer programs like the Interruptible program to reduce peak demand. The company has peaking gas plants that can be activated if needed to meet energy needs during expected periods of high demand. And when demand exceeds resources, periodic and temporary power outages are an extreme last step. When MISO makes declarations that would require periodic interruptions, we have plans in place to respond to their direction. Those outages are expected to be short-term and occur across the region in a way that minimizes the impact to customers and considers critical services such as hospitals. The multi-step process would typically allow time for Alliant Energy to proactively notify customers. And again, these are just steps in our plan. Alliant Energy has sufficient resources to meet the current demand. Now, let's shift to electric costs. As a refresher, here's a list of each of the individual items on a customer's electric bill. If you'd like to take a closer look later, these details are available at alliantenergy.com/Iowa rates. The first two items, the basic service charge and the usage costs, are items adjusted only via a rate review filed with the Iowa Utilities Board. The next several items on the list, starting with Energy Adjustment Clause and continuing through the Demand Response Cost Recovery, are riders and adjust based on the costs and benefits that each rider covers. We'll take a closer look at a few of those in just a moment. And finally, the local option tax or franchise fee is under the control of the city government for each individual city. Communities with a local option sales tax are at 1%, and communities with a franchise fee charge between 1 and 5% as allowed by state law. These fees are collected by Alliant Energy and returned to the local governmental agency or agencies that have put them in place. It's helpful to understand how much each of the line items on the previous slide impact your overall bill. So these pie charts will break that down for you. There's differences between each of the classes. As a reminder, the usage costs, or gold part of the circle, is set as part of the rate review process and will only change through a filing with the Iowa Utilities Board. This component will not change in 2022. Next, if we look at the energy adjustment charge, shown here in gray, the regional transmission service charge, in yellow, and the renewable energy rider factors, in light blue, these factors do change in 2022. We'll talk about the energy adjustment clause on the next slides. For most classes, the regional transmission service charge, or RTS, will change for the rest of 22. This will also be shown in a later slide. The renewable energy rider, or RER, changed in April of 2022. As noted previously, the local option sales tax, or franchise fee, are under the control of the city government for each individual city. These graphs, as well as the graphs for other customer classes, are all on the AlliantEnergy.com Iowa rates page for your further review. Now let's look into the Energy Adjustment Clause, or EAC, line in your bill. The EAC tracks the costs of fuel to produce power and the cost of energy purchase for our customers. Any rate case recovery charges are also part of this line item, and the EAC is also used on occasion to flow other benefits through to customers. From the previous slide, we see the EAC is a large component of your overall bill. This chart shows the trend line for the EAC since January of 2020. Overall, there has been an increase in the EAC in 2022. This is caused mainly by rising fuel costs, which are being driven by a number of global and economic factors. The expiration of tax benefit rider credits also contributed to the overall EAC increase. At this time, we do anticipate a decrease to the EAC for the latter part of 2022. We typically see a seasonal decrease in fuel costs as we move into the cooler fall and winter months. To summarize the 2022 changes for electric customers, first, there will not be a change in base rates. Again, those costs will only change if a rate review is filed with the Iowa Utilities Board. The costs that changed or are forecasted to change in 2022 consist of the Energy Adjustment Clause, the Renewable Energy Rider, and the Regional Transmission Service Cost. The Renewable Energy Rider is higher in 2022 due to lower than forecast wind production in 2021. Costs for the RER were recovered based on the forecast for 2021, so lower production means the RER was undercollected in 2021. The undercollection in 2021 is the driver for the increase in 2022. Regional Transmission Service Charge, or RTS costs, will be changing due to reconciling costs and revenues for 2021. Based on the changes in the 2022 forecasts, let's look at the large general service electric costs. First, it's important to note that we've assumed a customer's usage is the same each year, 2018 through 2022. This doesn't happen often, but using that assumption allows us to show a better comparison of costs year to year. This graph uses actuals for 2018 through mid-2022 and offers a forecast for the rest of 2022. Also, the graph represents monthly averages, and actual usage varies significantly from one business customer to another. The electric cost trend reflects an increase in the forecast for 2022 overall. Consistent with a message from our December 2021 customer webinar, the drivers of the forecasted increase are driven by the Energy Adjustment Clause, or EAC, as we discussed earlier. Again, the increase in the EAC is driven by higher fuel costs and the expiration of the tax benefit rider. And second, the Renewable Energy Rider increased in 2022. This is due to undercollecting for this in 2021 and adjusting for that undercollection in 2022. As we look at high load factor electric costs, I want to again note the graph represents monthly averages, and actual use varies significantly from one business customer to another. You can see 2021 is reflecting the lowest average cost over the period of 2018 through 2022 forecast in the graph. As previously stated, the drivers for the 2022 forecasted increase are the Energy Adjustment Clause and the Renewable Energy Rider. From the chart discussed on a previous slide, the EAC and RER account for about 40% of the average high load factors customer's bill. I should also point out that the average bill number displayed may be less useful for this rate class because usage can vary greatly. In summary, the look at the 2022 bill forecast for our customers is consistent with what was shared in December. Our goal with these webinars is to offer our cost outlook based on what we know today. For the 2022 electric cost outlook, what we know is no base rate review has been filed this year, so usage costs will remain constant in 2022. We've implemented strong cost controls to allow us to continue investing in distribution system assets without asking for increased rates. For the Energy Adjustment Clause, higher fuel costs and expiring tax benefit rider credits have pushed the charge higher in 2022 when compared to 2021. Proposed rate changes for the Regional Transmission Service Charge will vary by rate class. They will reduce slightly for LGS, lighting, and standby customers, increase slightly for LGS supplementary customers, and stay the same for GS and high load factor customers for the remainder of 2022. The Renewable Energy Rider will increase in 2022 due to the undercollection in 2021. And finally, our energy efficiency cost recovery and demand response cost recovery inputs for 2022 will change slightly depending on rate class. As noted earlier, a factor that is driven at your local level is the franchise fee, which, if implemented or adjusted, could change overall costs at the community level. We've worked very hard to keep our base rates and service costs stable, and significant work has been done to manage the Energy Adjustment Clause. With the tax benefits ending and with higher transmission costs and an increase to the Renewable Energy Rider, we do expect customers' overall costs to be higher in 2022. Let's look at some energy efficiency opportunities that can help reduce energy consumption and manage costs. Listed here are some of the programs available through Alliant Energy. Please note that some of these programs have restrictions or require pre-approval, so be sure to contact your key account manager or the Business Resource Center prior to the start of any project. We'll be happy to discuss the programs in greater detail and get you started. As a reminder, Energy Edge is a valuable tool available through My Account. Once you're in My Account, look for the button that will take you to Energy Edge. Our automated metering technology powers this system with significant amounts of data. You want to take the 5 minutes necessary to build the facility profile in Energy Edge. If you do, it unlocks an extremely powerful feature of the system, providing customized energy efficiency and electrification recommendations specific to your facility. It will even highlight potential savings in energy and dollars to help you prioritize your capital spend. The system offers bill cost and energy usage comparison, and within days, your hourly usage data is available to you. The system also provides a way to compare usage with one of the larger drivers in seasonal energy changes, and that's the weather. Again, you simply need to sign up to My Account to receive both services, My Account and Energy Edge for your business. Based on meter types, most but not all meters are providing data into Energy Edge, but more are coming, and your key account manager can update you on your specific meter type. I'd like to summarize the pending changes. Consistent with best practice, the EAC will be updated monthly. I will note that any remaining residual from the tax benefit rider will flow through the EAC pending board approval. As mentioned earlier, proposed rate changes for the regional transmission service charge will vary by rate class. They will reduce slightly for LGS, lighting, and standby customers, increase slightly for LGS supplemental customers, and stay the same for GS and high load factor customers for the remainder of 2022. Please note updates and further information can be found on the website at the bottom of the slide. I'd like to remind everyone to post your questions in the chat function or email us. This is to ensure people who were not able to attend today will still have access to this information. We will then post the question and answers along with the presentation to our website. Also shown here are other ways you can reach out to Align Energy with your specific questions. I'd like to thank everyone for their time today and look forward to your attendance at future webinars. This includes today's webinar. Thank you.